Everybody, welcome to Stack Your Points. Thanks for watching and listening. And this is the Friday Q&A segment. So your questions, we answer them, sometimes up to an hour, sometimes it creates its own episode in and of itself. So if you have questions, always feel free to drop them on the YouTube channel or email us at stackyourpoints@gmail.com. But we hope you enjoy this week's Q&A session. Thanks for watching and listening. Welcome to another episode of Stack Your Points. As always, I'm Matt from the Matt Clausen YouTube channel, joined this week by RJ from Do You Take Cards. RJ, how are you?
I am well. It is Monday. I had a lot of off time today at work. It was a lot of meetings, a lot of different things. So I am in an oddly awake mood for this hour of the day.
You're lucky. I have the longest night ahead. The longest night. I've already had one coffee. I will have another before they... Anyway, we're also joined by Tariq from Reek's Rewards. Tariq, how are you today?
I am good. It is Monday for this recording, which we all know what that means, and I'm happy to be here.
He's happy this time, not just straight chilling. So there you go. We're also joined by Lonnie from the Call Me Lonnie YouTube channel. He is also known as Mr. Burnout right now, Captain Burnout. How do we want to address that?
Neither, actually. Can I just make a statement without getting a label?
Yeah, that's fair. I'm just planting Easter eggs, that's all. And it's post-Easter, so I'm just setting up for next year's Easter.
Yeah. Anyway, I was good before I got pigeonholed into a new nickname by Matt.
I do it every other week.
Started off as a good night. I don't know where it's going now.
Oh, wow.
I may not be the butt end of strays from Lonnie today. Thanks, Matt. I can take the Monday off.
Road that doesn't have streetlights. You just turn on your headlights and hope for the best. And maybe there's a raccoon, and that's Matt's label he just threw at me.
My labels are little trash pandas, yes. No, honestly, it's just the reaction, just getting the smile is all I'm looking for. No ill intent there. Anyway, as we do, we will jump into our questions. And this week we're starting off with a laundry list of questions for Lonnie. Lonnie, we have questions from Lord Tor 23, who asks, I got 3 questions, mostly for Lonnie, but anyone can answer. I wonder how often you get upgraded with 1K status. Also, with 1K status or with the United Infinite card, do you get discounts on business class award flights? And if you do, what kind of discounts do you get on average? And finally, asking if you've booked with last minute hotels in the Mileage Plus X app, because he's looking at hotels in Vegas and is amazed to see 10x and 15x on some hotels. So Lonnie, question in 3 parts: how often, and the card discounts on Saver Rewards.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, first off, these are all 3 great questions, but they're not going to be 3 finite 1 and 0 black and white set straight answers. So let me explain. So let's start off with the first one. How often do I get upgraded with 1K status? Quite often, actually. I'll probably say 7, 8 times out of 10. So pretty good numbers and odds right there. The difference is where you're going and what airport you're flying out of, i.e., if it's a larger flight, there's going to be less of a chance you're going to get upgraded. And so, as a larger flight, I'm going to say something that is like LAX or Los Angeles to New York or San Francisco to New York, those cross country domestic flights. You're going to see those planes are usually the Dreamliner series, like the 787, 797s, et cetera, the Dreamliner series that have the Polaris classes on them. They're also pretty much always full, 100% always you're never going to have an empty seat on there. And so, yes, those are going to be very hard to get an upgrade on. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible. I've 100% gotten upgrades on there before, but I've never gotten an upgrade like for my entire family taking one of those large flights, like getting 3 seats. No. If I'm flying solo, it's like single rider. Yeah, that happens quite often, believe it or not, because with 1K status, you're already at the top of the upgrade list 4 days in advance, like 96 hours in advance. They'll tell you like, oh, we just upgraded your seat. But neither here nor there, happens still quite often. But like I said, there are some variables in there. The other aspect of it is if it's not a major flight, if I'm going to fly from Chicago to Denver, I'm going to get upgraded. When I fly through my regional airport that takes me to my parents' house. So I connect in Chicago because, as we all know, I'm from Illinois. I connect through Chicago and fly to the airport just a couple of minutes away from my parents' house. Yeah, to and from, I'm always upgraded because it's such a small flight. It's so niche that there's always a lot of seats. And in the Midwest, I'm probably like one of the only 1K members over there. Like those people aren't flying a lot, even though it's highly industrial. There's a lot of businesses. It's still not the same amount of business as you'll get from an LAX in New York or a SFO, but it's hit or miss. The only thing I could say is when I know I'm flying out of SFO and have to go either international or LAX and have to go cross country to New York, I'm just going to buy Polaris. I'm not going to risk it if I want to sit that Polaris class. If not, I'll just buy the purple seat. Or in this case, you can get that one free anyway because you're 1K status, same as like Economy Plus. Now, hopefully, like I said, it's not a straight answer, but it is an honest one. Let's move on to the second question. I'm hopping over to the list here. So, also with 1K status with the United Infinite or with the United Infinite card, do you get discounts on business class award flights? And if you do, what kind of discounts do you get? In short, yes, but not award flights. You'll get a discount on business class paid flights, but that is also it's highly varied depending on the company that you're synced with your United account. So you and I can work for two different separate companies, book the exact same flight, and get two separate different prices because maybe one company is partnered directly with that United, that's their dedicated travel partner, and they put more employees on that particular flight. I.e., let's go back to LAX to New York. So if they're just filling up that flight with that particular company's employees, and I'm going to get a better deal than if you're not part of that company. Now, award flights are just set as award flights. Now, if we're not talking business and we're just talking, I'm a consumer buying business class, which I think is what you're getting at, you do get discounts on it. They usually start about 10%, but it's also, once again, varied. And it's varied on when you buy it, the plane, how many more seats are left, because there's no airline that gives away 100% award flights. They like, even if I look at United with their Polaris class, they're only going to do probably 30% in award flights, and everything else is just SOL after that because they got to make their money too. And if everyone's buying with miles, then they're not getting anything. So it'll never be 100% all whatever flight you're on. In most cases, like 50 Polaris seats, it's never going to be 100% award flights. Now you can get awards and they're called Saver Awards, but once again, they're varied. Now I see this a lot more with status than I do with any type of card. Card usually starts at about 10%. But once again, where are you flying from? What type of airline are you on? Where are you flying to? Because once again, LAX to New York is going to be a different award flight than Denver to Houston, for example. So once again, it all depends. But I will say, yes, you do get award flights at a discount for being a 1K status member, but you can also get it for just being a card holder. Does not have to be the Infinite card. I've gotten award flight deals or Saver Awards and what should they call them for on my Explorer card by itself. But like I said, it just varies. Sometimes it's really good and sometimes it's really bad. It depends on, am I flying on a Tuesday? Am I flying on a Saturday? Am I flying at 9 in the morning or am I flying at red eye at 11:30 at night? All of that takes effect. So I can't give you a straight answer, but I can say yes. Both of these things can affect the way that you get a discount on an award flight, even if it's business class. And then the last question, have you booked last minute hotels with Mileage Plus X? Unfortunately, no. I look at it all the time, but I've never actually booked one. And the reason why is because those last minute deals are so locked in where it's unless I was planning on going to Las Vegas this weekend on this particular day and leaving on that particular day, that'll be the only way that I can do it. And in most cases, that's never going to happen for me, no matter where it's at, where those deals pop in. It's like, you can get a really cheap weekend in Denver. I'm not planning on going to Denver. It's not in the cards this week. That's not on my bingo sheet. So I like to look at them because maybe one day I might get lucky and I'm just hanging out somewhere and it's in driving distance, maybe in Arizona or something. I'm just making something up and it's like, yo, stay an extra day. We can get this for the weekend. awesome. But that's absolutely never happened. So thus I have never taken advantage of Mileage Plus X, but they are great deals. That hopefully that it helps answer your question.
Oh, that was pretty thorough on all three fronts. RJ, Tariq, any other thoughts here, or I feel Lonnie covered that pretty extensively.
The Vegas hotels on Miles Plus X, unless I'm booking like, what is it, the Rio on Hyatt or whatever IHG has, if I'm gonna stay on the strip and I don't really care to earn MGM points or Bonvoy points, God forbid, that might not be a bad idea, especially because I just found out one of the players on my school's women's basketball team just signed with the Las Vegas Aces, my favorite women's basketball team. So I might be making a couple extra trips to Vegas if she makes the final roster. So who knows? Maybe if I might look at that Mileage Plus X last minute hotels for Vegas and see if there's any good deals. But if not, it's just points.
Now, question with that travel, and Lonnie, you might know about more than any of us combined on this one. Mileage Plus X, if you book a hotel through Mileage Plus X, those last minute deals, does that spend count toward PQPs within the app?
No, not that I'm aware of. I think
Okay.
well, only if you have a United card would you get any PQP, but not from just using the app and booking it or using it. No.
Okay.
I wonder if it'd be like a stack if you use the last minute hotels, or does that count as just earning points like through like United's hotel portal? Because I think that's different, right? Through Miles
It's
Plus
different.
X?
Yeah, it's different. So it's not like booking directly through United's portal. It's basically a promotion. The entire MPX app is a giant promotion. It's just a promotion app.
We both know how well that is.
So yes, it might say you're gonna get. I know it's 10. We're just gonna use 10x, but let's say it's 10,000 miles. Whatever the price of the last minute booking is, will equal 10,000 miles. Like you book here, you get your miles, and it's just like a promotion. They just drop it into your account. But it's actually not attached to the United website in any way, shape, or form. So it's just United handing out points for a promo purpose.
With United, I'm fine with getting as many miles that they'll.
To be completely honest, United has some travel agent that works for the company that's probably like looking at these Vegas deals and like calling the Bellagio or something like, "Yo, you got some rooms available? We'll buy them at a discount, and then I'll throw them in this app and make a quick profit, make a quick flip."
Yeah.
It's probably someone named Tyrone or Leon or something like that.
Fair enough.
One thing to note, I just looked up Mileage Plus X last minute hotels for my area, and all of them are slightly higher prices than you're going to get going direct. So yes, if you're going to an area and like your hotel room falls through, it might be a good way to get a room, but don't let the miles, if it's a program you care about earning points, and don't let the miles that you might not have a reason for dissuade you from getting the points that you have a option for. So something to keep in mind as you're seeing those 10 or 15x and your eyes are getting big. If you don't have any flights for the next year and a half on your plan, but you have a bunch of Hilton or Hyatt or whatever's, you might actually want the points or miles that way. So just something to keep in mind.
And it's a common practice with most travel agents as well. These like so-called last minute deals. You probably logged into any type of travel site, any airline, any hotel, where they're like, you can go to this exact place on this exact day and we'll give you 80% off. And it's the exact same thing. Or if you've ever used the Hotels Tonight app, one of my other in a clutch in case of emergency applications, where you book a hotel, it's Hotel Tonight. The instructions are in the name, the people. The same thing there, where sometimes I like to just play in the app and just be like, what's available? And they do the same thing. Last minute deals. You can get 60% off at this hotel, but you must be out by tomorrow at 9 a.m. type of situation. But to RJ's point, that's probably, as she was mentioning, United, it doesn't surprise me that the United MPX app is a little bit higher, because they're going to give you like 10x, 15x miles. They got to make a profit, folks. They can't just give it away for free.
Yep. No, definitely P&L there. I think if there was a stack to be had there, it would be if your United card comes with any hotel or travel related multiplier, and then you would get the multiplier because if you go through MPX, it usually goes to the source of the promotion. So it would be hotel in this case. So you should be good there, but it's going to depend on which card you use. Chase cards are generally fine. So I guess there, if you had a stack, it would be a chase card with a travel multiplier, a sapphire of some sort. Get your 3x, 2 or 3x there, and then you get the additional points for the stay that you're booking and go from there. It might be a use of your $300 travel credit. Maybe. Especially if you don't care about the night or the night accrued or you don't care about anything else like that. So you should be good to go from there. All right. So thank you, Lord Tour. Lord Tour. We're going to jump to our next question. Comes from Double Animal Fries, a first of a double feature from Double. And they ask, you may have talked about this already, but wondering if any of you have personal minimum limits on how you let your transferable points drop to, i.e., do you always use points if you have them to avoid paying cash, assuming acceptable value, or will you pay cash to maintain some arbitrary number of points balance in case you need them in the future? So do you guys have a set like minimum of where your points are at any given time? Like my points do not fall below X. Lonnie, I'll give you a break to start on this one. RJ, we'll start with you.
So, do I have a hard number in my head that if you ask me right now, could I give you? No. I have certain point systems that I like to have relatively over 100,000. Like Hilton, I want higher because Hilton tends to be a little more expensive as far as points go. So if there's a good transfer bonus, like I understand people don't like to move things speculatively. I stay at enough Hiltons in a year that if I move points to Hilton, I'm going to use those points at some point. You know what I mean? So I'm not worried about moving on a transfer bonus that I'm not going to use them. So Hilton, somewhere around 200,000, give or take, is usually a place where I'm not super worried. Mar points, 100,000, 150,000. That way I have options to go to Delta. I have options to go to Hilton. With Chase and Capital One, I don't really care. If I'm about to get 10,000 points for Cap One because I'll have my yearly anniversary bonus on my Venture X. I don't have an immediate place to put those points, so they're just going to hang out for a while. I'll use the Venture X if I need to. If someplace isn't taking Amex, I'm going to a Costco in a couple of weeks because I have to venture to a Costco because we don't have one where I live. So I know I have to use a Visa there. So that will I'll get some points off of that one, right? So I have certain ecosystems that I like to have some flexibility in, but all ecosystems for me are not necessarily equal, right? If I get Chase points, cool, they'll probably go to IHG and then I'll be done with having Chase points, right? So those pretty much go out as soon as they come in, or something like Amex, I like to hold them because I have a couple of options for them. So not a really hard number, but when I see them at 2,000, when I had Amex at 2,000, that gave me hives, right? That was all right, let's do some movement to get this changed. Versus like when I see that I have 300 Chase points, I'm like, okay, cool. And so it depends on the ecosystem for me.
We know having 2,000 MR points gave you highs because you upped and willingly, knowingly, and consciously, under your free will, applied for that business green card.
I will defend myself and say it was an elevated sub. I did not get 15,000 MR points for it. I got 25,000 MR points for it. So I want to make sure that part is clear.
Business green card for 10,000 MR points.
No, 25,000.
No, additional.
Additional, yeah.
Additional, yes.
And it will probably go to a business gold at the first convenient moment where I can be like, please.
As soon as that first annual fee is paid.
I don't even want a bonus. Just let me not have this card in my house. Let me go outside and light it on fire.
Is it in the sock drawer? In the sock drawer in a safe?
So
just so you can hide the shame.
I have a wallet that is only debit cards for various things, and it's in the wallet with the debit cards. It doesn't get to be in the wallet with the other credit cards.
You're not a real credit card.
Literally, well, technically it's a charge card, so it's not actually a real credit card, but it doesn't even get to be with the other charge cards. The Platinum looked at it and spat on it, so I had to move it.
That's smash
You're a
and grab.
real charge card now.
RJ woke up with regrets after that smash and grab.
I don't know. We'll see. Tariq, as the resident earner, burner, and just destroyer of Hyatt points, where do you like to keep your minimums, or are there minimums? Or
There
are there
probably
negative
should be.
balances?
There are not negative balances. I don't think I can get there yet. I could try, but I don't know if I want to go there. No, I should probably have some, but I don't. I think currently my Hyatt balance is, I think, sub 2,000. I think it's like 17 or somewhere between 17 and 1,900. But I also have 85,000 UR points. My girlfriend's probably close to 90, if not 100,000 UR points just from the spend that she does on her 2 freedoms. So Hyatt, I'm not really worried about, with the exception of if they go dynamic. I can just transfer however many points to whatever category 3 I find nearby, and I'll be okay. IHG, I am probably need to put more, just spend on my business card, my premier card, just because I have burned through some IHG points just for some stays, just because they are points heavy regarding dynamic. So that one, I think I'm at like 30,000, which is maybe a night off of at a Holiday Inn Express off the side of a highway in like Barrow, Alaska, or something like that. So yeah, I got to up the ante on that one. But for the most part, no, just because even though Chase still, I think, doesn't like me, and I'm not trying to test the waters right now, even though I'm at like 424, I can probably still get some semblance of a sub. Plus, I got the built card, so I can at least earn like 1,000 plus every month just from paying rent and whatnot. So I think I have like 14,000 built points that will likely be Hyatt points. And then with United, mileage plus X, I don't think I have to worry about it, especially if I get to like Lonnie levels of usage on that app. Then I will never have to worry about a United mile ever again. Like I'll probably be burning United miles to buy like an iPhone or something just because I'll have that many.
That means
Makes
something
sense.
right there.
And Lonnie, do you have any point thresholds?
Absolutely, I do. This is a great question. I think we did talk about this once before, but anyway, that's besides the point. Yeah, I know he asked for transferable points, but I'm going to start with non-transferable points first. So, because RJ had mentioned IHG, I keep about 185,000 IHG points always just ready to go. And that's because when I do go home to visit my parents and there's a Holiday Inn just steps away from their house, when I'm not staying at their house, that is, 4th night free, and I can get one of the biggest rooms at that particular Holiday Inn hotel. Costs about 180,000 points. So I always try to keep that in there just in case I ever need to go home short minute. It doesn't matter if it's like in the middle of the summer or for the holiday. It's always like 160, 180,000 points. As for some of my other transferable points, Amex, I like to keep around 200K. And that's usually because that will cover me for any type of like last minute weekend-ish style trip for fine hotels and resorts. My Chase points probably in the 400K range. I know that sounds like a lot, but you got to remember how many Chase cards out there have UR points. So it's easy to keep it up there if you're using your cards as the way they're intended. And the only time I ever really use my Chase points is well, yes, I do use I use it for the edit ones. I rarely use it for hotels, but primarily when I buy my flights through the Chase travel portal. And that's only when I'm switching off of, I am stacking up my United miles, or I'm stacking up my Chase points. And speaking of that, my United miles right now are about 400,000 as well. So as you can see, it's like just a ongoing like number I got used to of, if I need to book 3 tickets, wherever it is, even if it's economy, 400 will get me there. I don't need all 400, but sometimes you might want to sit in the front of the bus instead of taking the free economy plus. That's about 400. But for my family, it's usually always like 120-ish, maybe up to 180 at 60K a seat and on the high end sometimes for economy. So yes, I like to keep that amount, understanding how much like 3 economy seats would be versus 3 first class seats or maybe 3 Polaris seats. And that'll be like my sweet spot, if you will.
That definitely makes sense. In the ecosystems that I'm in, transferable currency wise, currently I am around 270,000 chase points. Would love more. The Wells Fargo, I am at around 150,000 points, but I still have to find a relatively good use for those points for now. In the future, if I'm ever down at 50,000 in either, I just need to like break glass and go on a point acquisition spree on both of those in both of those ecosystems. JetBlue, I currently have 130,000 points. I'm going to be booking some flights in the next couple days, so that's going to dwindle down. I'll probably end up around 60 or 70,000 after I'm done. And then Hilton, I'm at 180,000. I would prefer to be higher, but as long as I'm above 100, I'm at least happy. And then I have just under 70,000 membership reward points. Those can become Hilton points and push me over 300,000 Hilton points. So that won't be an issue. Across the board, if I'm above 50,000, I'm good. 50,000 is my now emergency break glass, go get more points.
Are you saying you're in an ecosystem where you don't have a easy use for points, Matt?
Not saying I don't have an easy use for points. I could always convert my Wells Fargo points into $1,500 in cash and go buy points somewhere if I need to. I can always do
Cheater.
that.
Cheater.
Sir, save that for the cent per point hell section of our Discord.
I'm just waiting. I'm waiting.
You want Beyond and the partners that are coming with Beyond. I know, it's okay.
Yes.
What partners?
Hush.
And how long?
They're coming.
When they get American Airlines from Citi, Matt is going to be the snuggest human being on the planet.
Matt will actually have a smile throughout the entire podcast and will just mention something about it after every segment that we do. Hey, by the way, did you see Wells Fargo transfer partner, American Airlines? And he's going to give it to Bill. He's going to do Bill so bad. I can't wait for that episode too. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. We will continue the double animal fries double feature, which, by the way, I had Shake Shack for the first time today. I don't see what the thrill was all about.
Double is In-N-Out, not Shake Shack.
Oh, I know. I just had a different burger chain today and one that everybody claims is like really good. And I don't see where they're coming from.
How
People
did you
us
eat your
the credit.
burger? Was it lettuce? Was it bunless? Like, now I'm invested in your burger journey, Matt.
I'm pretty sure Shake Shack has a gluten-free bun.
They do.
I'm not a fan of Shake Shack either, but their chicken nuggets are always hot.
Don't
But the
say
breading
that.
falls off.
Double animal fries. Chicken at a burger place sets him off for whatever reason.
Well, I got a
Because it's-
2-year-old and he likes chicken nuggets, so I eat chicken
Yeah.
nuggets.
No, if chicken nuggets are on the menu, you're gonna get chicken nuggets at some point. Lonnie knows this. It's just the rule. Just the rule.
I didn't say chicken sandwich, I said chicken nuggets.
Hey,
Yeah,
chicken-
there's a difference.
Whatever.
When you have children, you will know what we speak.
There's that's going to be some time from now. Well, I'm just going to say that.
I thought the same thing. Oops. Anyway, double second question is, have you made any credit card mistakes that you initially regretted but ended up working out well? Tariq.
Nope. The ones that I regret. I pretty much am like, why did I do this? And the ones that I did and worked out well, they worked out well. So no, I do not, because my head is hard. I am very hard-headed. I make steel look like memory foam with how hard-headed I can be. So no, I have not yet. So maybe, but that would require me to actually luck out. And I either make intentionally good decisions or decisions that I think are going to blow up in my face. $199 metal card from Chase that's not the Sapphire Preferred.
I make, what was it? What did you say? I make steel look like memory foam?
Yes, I am that hard-headed.
I'm really hoping that's an early front runner for the show title.
It in fact is.
Ah, yes.
I haven't
Oh,
gotten
wait.
warmed up yet.
RJ doesn't get to pick the show title this week. RJ's also muted right now.
I also don't have to be writing all of the notes for edits that I usually write, and I'm still doing it
Ooh.
because I forgot that Matt's editing this week, so I can stop, which is really nice.
I wouldn't.
Oh, no.
miss-
Please send me any notes that you do have to this point.
No, I think you're all set, Matt. I trust your judgment implicitly.
Oh, Matt, you walked into that one, buddy.
Fudge. Except he didn't say fudge.
We did on YouTube.
Now that would be a great title.
Lonnie, any cards that were initial regrets but ended up working in your favor?
I got to pull a Tariq on this one and go with a nope. So I'm going to have to bow out. Well, you know what? I'm going to bow back in. Hold on. Actually, no, I got to bow out. Because I was going to say my very first student credit card, obviously, at this point, after this amount of tenure, was a credit card mistake. It worked out well because Amex refuses to cancel it, even though I have not used this card and I can't tell you how long. It's still sitting there open and just padding my credit report, just making it look shiny, brand new. And so I guess, yeah, credit card mistake, getting a student card way back when worked out well. It's still open for some reason. Thing only has like $3,400 credit limit on it, and they just won't close it. Maybe I should like product change it to no, I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to let it be. Never mind.
Let it be, let it ride, and as soon as they close it, you still get another 10 years out of it. There you go. RJ, any initial mistakes work out well?
So I'm gonna say getting the 2 chase cards because it led me to have to figure out what to do with 2 cards that I don't really like and led me to IHG. And I really have been liking, I stayed at an IHG a couple weekends ago. That is now my backup to Hilton for hotels, and that system is going to be working very well for me. So Chase led me to IHG, and even though I don't plan to keep at least the Sapphire Preferred long term, if not also the Chase Freedom Unlimited long term, the ability to get into IHG and have that as my backup has been very nice. So, in a weird way, Chase led me to IHG, so now I can dump Chase and get the IHG card next year. Yay.
There we go. Any initial mistake you initially regretted ended up working out well? No, because my first 3 cards were... My first card was Wells Fargo being irresponsible and handing me a credit card. My second card was me trying to stay afloat while living on credit cards between political campaigns. My third credit card was balance transferring off of one of the first 2 credit cards to continue to float. And I kept those 3 for the longest time until I opened the Saver card, and the Saver card's not bad. So I guess the Quicksilver and the Saver were, I could say, are regrets, but over time have been fine just because Capital One loves extending me 0% balance transfer options on those cards every year, and I was finally able to move some credit limits around. That's like the extent of it. I was happy with the Apple card. I've been happy with the Sapphire Reserve. I've been happy with every card I've gotten since starting the Points and Miles journey, so I can't really say that those were initial regrets that worked out well. There's one card that I'll answer in the other one, in the back half of this question. So I guess maybe regretting picking up the Quicksilver and Saver just because I didn't know what to do with Capital One. And now I have no interest in the venture, and eventually I'll close those cards. But I'll call those mistakes that have worked out well over time. And now Jetting with Jan asks the reverse of this question. So only makes sense that we answer the inverse of this. And are there any cards that started well, but as time passed, you started to regret? If you listened to this podcast with in any amount of time, you know that I stupidly applied for the X1 card just based on the clang it made on the internet. Yeah, the X1 card started with a $25,500 limit that got slashed all the way down to $5,000 due to inactivity. I'm now just going to let that card ride into the sunset and fling it into the sun after like Robinhood eventually closes it. But I haven't touched it for 6 months, and Robinhood's still keeping it open, so we'll see what happens. That's the only one. I was stupid with my Wells Fargo cards early on. I have since changed my ways. So, yeah, I thought the X1 card would be a lot better than it was. Now I'm filled with regret. So we'll go back to RJ.
I hate to say it, but probably the choice card, more because of choice and how they've fallen to third in my hotel rotation, and less with the card. The card is fantastic. If you are in choice, get this card, the choice select card. It's fantastic. The problem for me is choice is much better as I'm on a road trip. I'm gonna stop somewhere between Bismarck, North Dakota, and I don't know, a place in South Dakota. And I'll find a hotel when I don't want to drive anymore. I am not that kind of person. I am fairly meticulous with how I travel as far as knowing exactly what hotel I'm getting, knowing what's around it, all of that. And I find Hilton and IHG to be easier for me to have the coverage that I'm looking for. So it's more a me thing than a choice thing or a choice card thing. But ultimately, I don't think that card is going to have the long-term impact. I will keep it for the year, obviously. I got the sub on it, so I will use those points for something. But as far as like long-term, I don't think it's going to work out the way I hoped. But it really is a good card. Like, I love that card so much if it wasn't choice. If it was any other hotel program that I use, that card would be a no-brainer, keep it forever. But unfortunately, I just don't use choice like that.
And that'd be from Bismarck, North Dakota. You could have gone with Pierre, South Dakota, or Rapid City, South Dakota.
Let's go Rapid City. Let's pick Rapid City.
Considerably further. Good job. All right, Reek, any cards that started well, but as time passed, you started to regret. Now, a proviso here. Please don't use the same card that you've already mentioned.
I'm not. I'm just going to say I'm canceling it and we're going to go on to there. The card that I actually am going to say was a card that I was going to use when I was cash back. And I wanted that card for as long as I wanted a credit when I was in the credit card game. That being the Costco Anywhere Visa. I think I tried on 2 or 3 occasions to apply for that card. And I think it was, and I finally got approved for it. At the time, I loved the card. It was my dedicated gas card. And my thought process at the time was, okay, my Costco membership is $60 a year. At 4% cash back on gas, I could just use that card solely to fill up my car and then maybe just use it at Costco. And the cash back that I earn would pay for the annual fee and then some extra cash in my pocket. That was the plan. And when I was fully cash back, I loved that card. It was my dedicated gas card. Then I got into the points and miles game and subsequently put cash back to the side. And the only charge that I put on that Visa now is I will put the annual membership just so I can put one charge on the card a year. And that card has sit in the sock drawer for so long, it's collected dust. I won't cancel it because it's a no annual fee card. And the only way I'll cancel it is I cancel my Costco membership. And I don't plan on canceling it. So yeah, wasn't like oh man, like this was a bad decision. It's just switch strategies.
Do
Maybe
you
if I
shop at Costco? Like you pay the membership fee, but do you actually shop at the Costco of which you have a Costco card?
yes, but I will just use other visas depending on I was using a certain card that I'm not going to mention anymore when I was working on that sign-up bonus and I was buying things like Costco. Sam's Club just happens to be closer, but I would not touch a Sam's Club credit card. So yeah, Visa. I just use visas, any other Visa. So my customized cash. If I get a Freedom Unlimited because I want to get a catch-all card for Chase or anything of the sort, I would use that card in lieu of the Costco Visa, just because 2% cashback versus 1.5x UR points. I'll take the 1.5 UR points just because I can go a little further with that.
Fair enough. Lonnie, any cards that started off as hopes and then turned into shattered dreams?
No, actually. I was gonna make a small jab because we haven't mentioned it. I was gonna say built, but it's not the card, it's the rewards program.
It's not the card, it's not the program, it's the company.
Yeah. All jokes aside. No. And I'm not allowed to use my student card twice. So
If it was smashing your dreams in some way, yes, but like it's just floating out there.
it's just
Card's just there. It just
it's
exists.
sitting in a drawer, man. It's
One day you'll hand it down to your son and it'll still somehow be active.
it really is.
You're going to use that card to teach your son credit card 101.
Card is literally about half the age that I am, and it's still active for some reason. But
it just won't die.
That card is Akon in prison, lonely.
That card is the ultimate zombie. It is the king of the zombies.
That card, if that card were related to sports, it would be Jerry Jones because it's just there. It may not be infuriating to you, but it just won't go away.
But will it hand Dak Prescott a 9-figure contract?
yeah.
No, they're going to do nothing in the offseason, but claim they're going to be all in.
Eventually, it's gonna get in the way because I'm gonna hit the
Your
credit
Amex card
limit with
limit.
Amex.
It is the Jerry Jones of credit cards. It's going to eventually get in the way.
Every so often I say I really wish that like those 650 tier cards across the rest of their range, like the Brilliant, the Aspire, and the Reserve, were not actually credit cards, but were instead charge cards so that you could take those off the limit because you don't need 10 Amex Platinums. But you could get by with an Amex Platinum and a Brilliant and an Aspire. Anyway, I'm just going to go live in Fantasyland now. But my argument makes sense. All right. So thanks, Jet Jan. Thanks, Double, for those questions that were very mirror of each other. We move to our final question of this episode, and it comes from Dad Hacks Travel, who asks, what's your current favorite shopping portal for maximizing points and miles? And I will turn to RJ for this one as well.
So I can only use portals online, right? I do not live in an area with a strong like dining program or anything like that. What I like to do typically is if Amex has an offer and Rakuten has an elevated points, I will do that, right? Because that way I'm getting maybe 20% back on the Amex card that I'm using and I'm getting the points through that. I'll do that occasionally. That tends to be most of what I'm doing just because Capital One miles don't really do it for me. Chase offers just oddly miss me in terms of what I'm shopping for. And while I don't need 17 different wineries that Amex seems to think I do, occasionally there'll be something good in there. So that's what I tend to do. If I can stack that way, I will. Mother's Day is a really good one coming up next month, guys, because usually there is a 1-800-Flowers or another flower shop, and Amex will have about 7 different versions of flowers, so you can snack that one very easily. So that is one that I will do often, and I send flowers relatively often, so it's nice.
Yeah, on the winery bit with Amex. Amex seems to think I have a drinking problem.
But it's never like high-end bourbon. It's like a winery or like a discount liquor shop that has like something that was aged in a wet sock somewhere.
Would Sir like a Wink membership? No, I don't.
Hey, you know what the hell Wink is?
It's basically just boxed wine on delivery.
Oh, that's like middle-aged soccer mom wine. Okay, cool.
Clearly the aesthetic that they're going for.
The soccer mom switched to vodka because of calories, so it's not even them anymore.
Vodka. Hard
It was
seltzer.
soccer mom in the 2000s.
Yes.
Yes. Lonnie, your current favorite shopping portal for maximizing points and miles?
Man, these are potato chips. There's not just one, in my opinion, but there's Chase, there's United, there's Honey. I know Honey's still got a bad rap out there. There's Rakuten.
Oh, I thought that was a joke.
There's Honey plus Rakuten. The United MPX app, I'm going to call that a shopping portal too, because it's darn near like a shopping portal. I don't use the American Airlines shopping portal anymore because I just go to a Shell gas station and get to keep my account active with them now. Those are my main ones. Yeah, those are my go-tos.
Yep, Rakuten's a big one for me. I've got some more points coming back with Rakuten. Top cash back, I also like to use. You're not going to get points back, but you are going to, it's good for maximizing your cash back from the spending that you do. They have the highest return rates on cash back for Hilton hotels. When I book those with cash, I get more from Top Cash Back than I do from Rakuten and other travel and other portals. Hilton also does not have their own shopping portal, which would be nice, but beggars can't be choosers. Also, Top Cashback always has the highest rate if you're going through points.com to purchase points on sale at whatever chain or airline you're going to buy purchase points from. Yes, I know purchasing points is cheating, but if I'm going to cheat, I'd rather get 2.52% cash back than 1.25% cash back from Rakuten, even if that 1.25% cash back can be redeemed in the form of MR points, because that's just how my brain works. Chase shopping portal is always good, and the airline of your choice, the American Airlines shopping portal, is really strong if you're going to go into the American Airlines program, just because the miles that you accrue in that also come with loyalty points attached to it. So you can do a couple of strategic purchases and find your way to American Airlines Gold status relatively quickly. Look at all of those, like Green Chef, Blue Apron, those sorts of offers. When those are high, you're also getting loyalty points on every mile with American Airlines. Now, do any of us fly American Airlines? No, we'll wait for Kid to come back on the show. And I'm sure Kid has used that. But the American Airlines shopping portal is super strong, and American Airlines dining super strong in that you not only get the points, the miles, but you get the loyalty points for status as well. The others don't add any particular kicker like that. So just going to highlight that one. RJ, any particular favorite portal for you to maximize points and miles?
I went already.
My goodness.
But just to backtrack a little bit, why is buying points cheating?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's a joke, guys.
Oh, okay. Because I'm gonna be like,
my brain will never let me buy points regularly. Like, I just can't.
I was gonna say, like, if I'm on the 20th floor and you're on the 11th, why is I'm cheating? That's the game.
As I've said, if you want to use cashback, that's fine. If you want to buy points, that's fine. If you want to do things that I don't do, I am fine with that, and I regularly suggest that to other people. I cannot do those things.
There we go. All right. Well, Dad Hacks Travel, hopefully we answered there. There's a number of options. Go with the one that fits you best. All right. With that is probably going to wrap it up for this episode of Stack Your Points. If you like what we do, hit the subscribe button down below. If you have any questions for us, feel free to drop it on the Friday episode of Stack Your Points. You can join the Stack Your Points Discord. Link is always in the description down below. Join the Stack Your Lives for live Q&A on Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. That is usually RJ, myself, Tariq. We'll get a fourth in there from time to time. We know that Lonnie will join us when available. Life,
fatherhood, man. It's just at the wrong time of day for me.
Yep. Nope, we know. That's why we get you here instead. What am I missing? Stack Your Live, questions, join the Stack Your Points Discord. In the Discord, there is a podcast question section. Drop your questions there. You can also leave us an email at stackyourpoints@gmail.com. If you listen to the full audio version, please leave us an email there or consider joining the Discord. I think we put it in the show notes. Can't remember. I'll double check. But RJ, if folks wanted to find you on the vast expenses of the internet, where's the best place for that?
You can find me in the Stack Your Points Discord. You can find me at Do You Take Cards on YouTube. I'm all over the place, guys.
Absolutely. Tariq, where would we best find you?
You can find me in the Stack Your Points Discord, my favorite corner, and then Reeks Awards YouTube. But mostly the corner because they like throwing me there. And it's comfy. I've done some renovations to there. Gonna use the Mesa card for that now.
That is some serious self-psychological torture there. Lonnie, if we wanted to find you on the best expense of the internet, best place for that.
Well, you're not going to find me at that convenience store in the middle of nowhere late at night. That's where you're not going to find me.
Well, it wasn't a convenience store.
It was at the TH Center.
For real, Matt. For real. You can find me on my YouTube channel, which is Call Me Lonnie. Lonnie is spelled Lani, and Call Me Lonnie is all one word. You can also find me on the Stack Your Points Discord as well. And only because Matt listed off absolutely everything except for hit that like button and the subscribe button, I'm going to go ahead and say, thanks if you made it to this point of the episode, thanks. Before you leave, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe.
Thank you, Lonnie. And feel free to subscribe to Call Me Lonnie, Reeks Rewards, Do You Take Cards, my channel, Matt Clausen. You can find me on the Stack Your Points Discord, here on Stack Your Lives, here on Stack Your Points, and my channel, anywhere else on the internet. And I don't know how you found me. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much, as always. We look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now.